Hello again. I'm well overdue to do a new video, and once again my only excuse is time. I still feel a little bit validated, vindicated in the amount of work I haven't done because of just life in general at the moment. Well, once again, the age-old excuse. Just moved here, and school holidays coincided at the same time. So right then there was just with the move and holidays. There's a good 2.5 months of just no cars, and before that was months of packing, and now months of unpacking. So I've been in my place about 2.5 months, and it's just about at the stage where I'm okay with it to just not be working on my section and property, and to get to do some cars. So after this video, today might be, or tomorrow, because there's still these things that are just every time I see them, I just like, oh, I've got to do that, and there's a lot of things that have priority over working on hobbies. So today or tomorrow, I might actually, for the first time, do some work on this cobra. I mean, for the first time in months and months and months. Like, I rewatched my 1 year video the other day of the cobra build. 1 year, 6 months into a yeah. So now I'm 2 years into a 6-month build, and aesthetically it doesn't look a lot different to what it was at the 1 year. There's just a lot of little things, and I can't remember what other things I've alluded to or we're up to in the build process in the last couple of videos. I know the last video, I'm pretty sure, was when I took it for a drive. Now that in itself was the biggest milestone I've had since I've owned it, and when I sent the footage to the guy who bought it off, he was just astounded. He couldn't believe it. I'd done so much in so little time. Personally, I was, and still am, just absolutely disappointed in myself for not having this thing as a daily driver yet. But yeah, and yeah, one of the comments I got in the last video, and it was, I thought the 1 year video was great. One guy just said, "Hey mate, it took me 10 years to build mine, so don't worry about it." And I'm a member of the AC Cobra New Zealand club, and his guys have been building cars. Well, I know one of the guys personally. He's been building his car for 10 years. But yeah, when you see it, oh, it's just a work of art. It makes mine look like a dirty old tractor, to be honest. But it is what it is. All I can do is try and focus on the good. Like I say, I got my dream car. Just about got my dream house and property now, but she's not big enough. As you can tell, there's enough room to swing a cat in my shed, because one of the fleet is gone. She's gone for a holiday. I never sell it. My Mini has left the building. So I've only got the dirty Cortina and the Cobra in my shed. So lots more room for activities. And when I dropped the Mini off while I was there with my car trailer, the proprietor of the establishment where it's stored goes, "Hey, do you want this tractor?" I was like, "Yes." So now I have a tractor. Yeah. Never mind. More things to play with. So yeah, instead of spinning down the Cobra, I spin it down the tractor instead. Yep. Never mind. So 2 years. Just a little bit of time for reflection here. I genuinely, to reiterate, thought I'd have this up and running in 6 months. And most of the things that held it up, apart from the general overwhelming amount of time I don't have, which I thought I did, damn family and things, having to be a dad and work, never mind. It is just about ready for cert. And to reiterate what cert is, in New Zealand, certification is a process you have to go through to achieve roadworthiness. So, and I know in some places around the world, it's you buy a kit, you put it together, and that's fine. Here it's not. Everything has to be checked and rechecked. For example, the A-arms on this car, the steering A-arms, they have to get a NDT report, which is crack testing. So I took the A-arms down to the cert shop and said, hey, do you think these are going to pass before I go and spend the $500 to get them crack tested? And he looked at them, he's like, not a chance. No, and these A-arms came from a reputable shop. I'm not going to name the names, but they should have been passed straight up. They should have. That's why you pay the big dollars for these kits. But I had to go and find another welder and spend another $500 getting the top and bottom, both sides A-arms re-welded before I could go and get them crack tested. So all up, there's $1,000 just like that, just because someone didn't do their job right. And of course, they'd already been powder coated and they were just beautiful A-arms. Now they're not. Now they're painted and they're very nice colour, but just stuff like that. I'm not sure about the rear because the whole rear end is rose jointed, rod ends, whatever you guys call them. I don't know if they have to be Teflon coated bushes, Teflon coated rose joints. I don't think they are, but all the steering components have to be that are rose jointed. So I've got to get there's a steering arm in there and a brace that's not. So I've got to pull them apart and send them away and just get them matched up with rose jointed ones. It's Teflon coated ones. It's not a major. It's just another expense, but it is what it is. It's probably only going to be 150 odd bucks. So it's not a lot. But if I have to do the entire rear end, it's going to be a bit more. But I can't find that out until I take it to certifier. And that's a 3-month wait. I went and see him yesterday and said, hey, how are we looking this year? And he's like, snowed under. It's like, cool as mate, I'll do a few more bits and pieces. I'll come and see you end of next month or end of this month and book it in. And whether I've turned a spanner on it or not, I'll bring it in and get the scary list of what I have to do. Now, this list might not be bad, or it might be just, terminal. It will happen, but there's just so many steps. Like I say, it's up and running and driving. I have driven it, and I've probably put about 2 kilometers on it. Like up and down the road a couple of times. I drove it at my freight mate's driveway, like I said in my last video, and smashed his sump into the ground. And it hasn't left the building since. It's got a new sump on it, to reiterate, I already had a sump because I knew I was going to have to modify it. So I put the spare sump on. I'm just going through the process. I met another guy yesterday in a performance car shop, parts shop rather. And so he's going to try and dig around and find out if they make an aftermarket sump for this engine. Because it's a 4-valve quad cam Ford V8, which is what what America calls the SN95, and I thought they were the same motor, but apparently they're not. So I don't know if they're the same block. So if they're the same block, the parts out of America are just plentiful. It won't be a problem. But I haven't been able to find anyone that can confirm whether they are or not. So it's just frustrating. But just another step. But I hate saying but well, where we are at, obviously the whole body is assembled. Doors, bonnet, boot, huge job. Way more than either myself or my fiberglass that we were expecting. and by all means, it's if all the fiberglass hasn't done. There's still some parts in the actual body needs to be reinforced a couple places. The side vents with above the extractors down there. The way I'm going to attach those side vents is making aluminium blocks which they mount to, so everything's going to be removable. I've come across a few of these cars and parts like that are fiberglassed in so that you cannot remove them, and to me it's not a good idea. You never know when you're going to need to get in there, and in that little hole, it's only this big, but having that little hole in there to access brake master cylinders and brake reservoirs and exhausts and bolts to get to extractors, it's just amazing. So I don't want to lose that. Excuse me, it's just planning ahead. Like whenever I make a project, if I build something, I always make it so everything can be taken apart for servicing or replacement. And I just think that's a great idea. It's going to cost more, it's going to take longer, but it is what it is. And another thing I've just do have to take stock of is I have to realise that I think I had a rough estimation, and so far out of the 2 years, this has spent around a year in other workshops and sheds getting work done, or storage, or during the move, things like that. It takes time. And then the other year it's been in my position, it's nobody's fault except my own, and just not having enough time, or making life hard for myself by having too many other hobbies and wanting to do things like go hunting and fishing and Cortina Nationals and family. But yeah, right, so realistically, small list of just I had to walk around, because it's been so long since I've touched it, I literally have forgotten what needs to be done, because in my infinite wisdom I haven't written down a list. Although I cannot find it because I moved. But there's only a short list off the top of my head, and don't get me wrong, the list that's going to come back from the certifier is going to be substantial. But the taillights, I still haven't gone in and ordered the taillights. Just haven't got around to it. There's one of the things I have found is there's a little bit of play in the rack. So when the rack's bolted in, when you turn the wheel, without the power steering, so it's so much more weight, you can just see the rubber bushes move. Now I don't think that'll be enough for it won't pass a cert. So I'm looking at it and I think it's not going to be a hard fix. All I need to do is put a shim on the back of it, and that should make more purchases against the rubber, because it looks like the bolts are just bottomed out and it's just not enough clamping pressure. So you put a shim on it, and I'm hoping it'll be that simple. Flip the computer. It's still sitting on the passenger floor. I've just got to pull the whole dash, which is half the steering column out, and mount it in there. There's plenty of room, kind of, with a can-do attitude. I just haven't got to it. The bump steer. Now I'll put a photo of the steering arms that I've made. Now it's gone through and had a wheel alignment. I set the caster, and it's mint, and it drives beautifully in the 3 minutes I've driven it. But the bump steer is a mechanism that the travel from suspension travel goes up and down, so your wheels don't go in and out. Now it looks to be pretty good, but there's a calculation I have to do, and I don't have the means or the know-how to do it correctly. So at the entirety of the travel, it's only allowed to move 5 millimeters each way, and you have to put a rod on each side of the wheels, or the hubs, out to about 1.5 meters in front of the truck with the car, and raise and lower the car and measure every 10 mil on the entirety of the suspension with the wheels coming in and out. Now I think I've done it pretty close. All I've got to do is go and get it checked with a certifier, because the parts I've used, the spacers and the misalignment washers are just made out of very, very high grade aluminium, billet 60, 40, 61, 45, I don't know what it is, but they're temporary. Like, they could last forever, but I'm not going to use them. They're just there as a guide, and if they pass, then I'll go to a machine shop and say, please replicate these. Sorry, my camera just stopped recording for no reason. Yeah, I think what I was saying is I had to get the parts made temporarily, and then if they pass the correct width, because it's all about spacing and just set up. If they're correct, well, then I'll take them down and get them made out of the correct materials. And I'm hoping it's that simple. I hope. We're going to bleed the brakes. One of the brake calipers at the back, and they're completely reconditioned. One of them is not quite bleeding properly. I don't know why. Like, you crack the bleed nipple and I can't get fluid to come through it under pressure. It's still working. Like, yeah, it's clamping, the handbrake is working, but you can feel a little bit of air in the lines, like the pedal's a little bit spongy. So I just got to pull that off, and I don't know how hard that is in the back, because there's a jag diff in it, in a car it's not supposed to be in, so I'm assuming there's lots of room, so got to do that. The speedo, the reluctor wheel, I had to make a reluctor wheel and put a pickup on the side of the drive shaft, because the gearbox in this thing, which is a Tremac TR3650, they don't have a speedo output on them at all. They are from the era of cars where they use the ABS sensor, I think, on one of the wheels as you pick up. So there's no place, you can't even just retrofit it into the gearbox. There is no place for a speedo. So a reluctor wheel and pickup it is. Now the reluctor wheel is a ferrous metal, but the pickup, the one I ordered, it doesn't pick up ferrous metals. So all the little bumps with the reluctor wheel, it's got teeth or dogs that go past and they spin it, and as they spin they come past it and they come within about a millimetre of each other, and it sends a signal. It's not a ferrous metal picking up reluctant pickup, so I had to put magnets in them. So I had to drill out every little hole and put and countersink in magnets. Now I don't know if I've got a dud magnet or what, but one of the magnets isn't picking up. So I don't know if you see the video, you'll just see the speedo go along, and it's smooth, and then just jumps, and it's what that is it's spinning, and then it's getting signal, no signal, so it just jumps. So I've got to pull all that apart, find out which magnet isn't sending the signal, which probably involves me underneath and someone sitting in the car turning the wheels, and if the speedo pings, cool. If it doesn't, it's that one. So I'm going to have to re-drill that, or I don't even know if I can get those magnets out, which means spend another $300 to get another reluctor wheel built, because the one-off, just cool stuff like that. And yeah, just the suspension in the back is the big one, because I've been doing a little bit of research, and the way that they mount the suspension arms to a lot of these cars is they actually mill off a piece of metal and then drill it and put a bolt through it to hold your rose joints on it. Now the law has changed in New Zealand, because a couple of these have actually broken for people not doing them correctly, and without seeing it, this car could be one of the ones that is not going to pass, which means a rebuild of the entire rear end, which I'm hoping I don't have to, but until the cert guy goes under it and checks how it's being built, at the moment it's a possibility that I'm going to have to fork out for a rear end rebuild. But I hope I don't have to. But yeah. Other than that, it's just a few little bits and pieces. Just cleaning up, like bonnet stays. It's got a bonnet stay in it now, but I haven't got to make a bracket to bolster to the side of the car where you put your bonnet stay latch. Just little things which I am actually going to enjoy doing because it's cosmetic and not just mind numbing, make the stuff work kind of thing. But other than that, it's coming along, just a lot slower than I was hoping, and it's gonna get shelved for a little while because there's a one-off inaugural show coming up in New Zealand next year. Whoever watches this, if you're familiar, if you're not, Summernats is the biggest car show in the Southern Hemisphere. It's an Australia-based company, or show rather, and they are going to branch out into New Zealand next year, and systematically going to do this show 5 k's away from my house. And it's a 3 to 4 day show. The specifics haven't been released, so I thought, yep, a couple of me and my mates gonna just stay here and we'll go there. But they're like, nope, we want to stay there. So we're gonna go and stay at Summernats. It'll never be as good as Australia, I know that, but it's gonna be good fun. So I'm gonna take the Cortina to that. And so there's a few bits and pieces I want to do that. I want to rebuild the entire exhaust because it's from day one on the Cortina. It's on the first thing that was on the list was to redo the exhaust because it's got just smaller than a 2.5 inch exhaust from front to back, and I'm trying to push 500 horsepower through it. So it's a huge power restriction through there. Oh, so that's what I'm doing. That's why I was at the part shop yesterday. It was pricing and ordering some 2.5 inch pipes and X pipe, which is it's a crossover pipe, and a couple of mufflers. So I'm going to be pulling that apart in the very near future, not the next few weeks because I'm going to Rarotonga next week for a week, and then so I've got to jack that up because I don't have a hoist here. So all my stuff I build gets built in my shed, and so I'm going to try and build a full exhaust system under the car in place, and I'm going to have about this much room just to do things the hard way. Now my friend has said come to my place and use my hoist, but that's a couple of hours to get to his house. So I might just go there and stay. If I get all the parts, just go and stay there and I can do the whole lot. But while I'm under there, no doubt I'm going to find some other stuff I want to change. I want to reroute battery cables and things like that because I don't like it. I want to redo the fuel line in the back of this thing because it's still got the factory fuel lines in the Cortina. And they go right past, they actually swing around past the back wheel, and I've blown probably 50 or 60 or 70 sets of back tyres next to these plastic lines and never broken them. But I don't want to risk it, so I want to replace all that and a few other bits and pieces, because the sole intention of going to the Summernats is there's a part of the show which they call Burnout Alley, where you can drive around, cruise around the show, and there's a section allegedly they're going to make that you can just go up there and just pull every gear you can and just do burnouts. I don't intend to get into the burnout competitions. This is just a street car thing. But the burnout competitions, there could be some heavy hitters there. I would never get looked at. Yeah, they'll be looked at and watched because it's shiny, but some of the guys that will be turning up for this competition, I wouldn't even try and have a run up against. Yeah, you can't take a street car to try and compete with a dedicated burnout car. But never mind, that's that. So there might be videos on that, because yeah, the videos are getting pretty thin on the ground lately because I haven't been doing anything except lawns and gardening and trimming trees and setting houses up yeah, it's not what the channel's about, so I haven't been filming it. Yep. So there's that. So let's run up onto the cars. Yeah, I'm hopefully going to go and edit this video and post it online and come back and actually do some work on the car. That's my plan. Whether it comes into fruition or not, you won't know. But yeah. Alright. Well, this has been my first video with hair. It's a weird thing. I know you guys haven't probably noticed, but I've been had shaved head the last 5 years. And for no reason I've grown my hair. Because, yeah. Hopefully it's not a mess. I might need to dip it out. But so that's where I'm at. And thanks for your time. Yeah. If nothing else, if you're building a car, it just goes to show that unforeseen circumstances can really throw your time a curveball. So don't stress out, because it was really winding me up, the longevity of this build. I just had to just woosah it out and just take stock of what I've got, where I'm at, and it's just going to be done when it's done. Yeah. Hey everyone, thanks for your time, and I'll see you next time.